The Araria campus says less than half the protesters arrested there are students or faculty there. 9 News investigates, and that seems to check out. Following along with the migrants fortunate enough to land a spot in Denver's asylum seeker program. Fact-checking an out-of-state sheriff's very public diss of how Denver handles policing. And the well-known house raffle that has never given away a house didn't give away a house this year either. People finding out that they never give away the house probably didn't help. But you count on us to tell the truth, even when it's uncomfy, because this is next. Another day, another lockdown right now on the Araria campus due to a pro-Palestinian sit-in. Tonight, 9 News investigates just who is leading these protests. Our review of enrollment records shows that most of the people arrested do not appear to be enrolled students. And today, campus leaders said their research suggests the same. The Araria campus is claiming that it's outside agitators escalating the protests there. They said that their review, still in progress, shows more than half of the people arrested or cited in the almost 3 weeks of protests are outsiders. Now, in fairness, the Araria campus has put out misinformation about these protests in the past, like when they blamed protesters for zip-tying doors when it was actually law enforcement. So our investigative team is doing our own cross-referencing of enrollment and police records. We have the records from MSU Denver and CU Denver, which together make up about 75–80% of the student body at Araria. And only 13 of the first 45 people arrested appear to actually go to school there. Denver's scaled-back assistance program for migrants has just 500 spots. The city is intentionally limiting the amount of help to try and limit the numbers of people coming to town. Our Angeline McCall shows us the city's enrollment process for those migrants lucky enough to get in.
Voy a hacer una presentación para ustedes hoy para aprender sobre el asilo.
It's information that brings with it an opportunity.
El asilo es muy parecido a ser un refugiado en los Estados Unidos.
Opportunity that will set families on a better track.
Sí.
Nicole and Jackson brought one son with them to Denver, with another on the way.
Una bienvenida y propósito.
With so much information, they need to make a decision.
Entonces. La que tengo que firmar.
It's an easy yes for them to enroll in the new Denver Asylum Seeker program.
La verdad queremos estar legal para poder estar bien y tener un trabajito y poder tener cómo ayudar a nuestra familia.
¿Todos aquí son de Venezuela o alguien es de otro país?
The program means they'll get help with housing, enroll them in a work skills program, ESL classes, and the one thing they need the most.
Más que todo con el asilo.
And with it, a work permit 6 months from submitting the application.
Y tengo una emoción grande en mi corazón porque siento que esto es un paso a seguir, a estar legal, a tener los beneficios que de verdad uno se lo puede ganar portándose bien con disciplina.
Each step, they make sure they know what they're signing up for.
Pero uno tiene que asistir todas las clases, todas las reglas.
Jackson and Nicole haven't been able to find work since arriving in December. This program, they hope, will change that.
They get job certifications and they're matched with a really good job at the end. And so it's basically like an upskills program where folks at the end can get a job that pays better than the job that they would be able to get at the beginning.
Sarah Plastino, the Denver Newcomer Program Director, says more than 530 people have enrolled so far.
And this is just the beginning. We're building out the program, and over time we'll continue to admit new people and expand the program.
A beginning for the city's new program and for the families who have decided to enroll in it.
Son muchos beneficios que la verdad nos interesa porque, bueno, yo me siento contento. Yo de aquí donde estoy, me siento alegre, me siento contento.
The city says many of these families have really strong asylum cases, but that means that you are a victim, for instance, of persecution or violence in your home country. However, winning asylum is not an easy thing to do, and the city knows some of these families that they're helping with this application ultimately will not end up with a successful case at the end.
Yeah, we've talked about that process here in the past, Angeline. For folks who watch next, we helped out a nonprofit, the Colorado Hosting Asylum Network, that pre-vets all of the people coming into their program to see who has like a really rock-solid asylum claim, and they've never lost one. The city is going into this knowing that some of the people that the city helps will be denied.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. You know, these asylum cases are really difficult to win. It's a very high bar to actually win an asylum case in court. And so, yes, the city sort of took this cohort from a date of announcement rather than sort of vetting. And so they know ultimately that there are families that are being accepted into this program, currently eligible, that in the end won't have a successful asylum case. As for what will happen to them, we don't know. But that's really years down the line when they find out in immigration court that, you know, you do not have a successful case.
I want to clarify something I said. There's 530 enrolled for 800 eventual spots. Angeline McCall, thank you. It's a sign that out-of-state law enforcement is using misinformation to try and recruit Denver police officers, or at least send a message. And this is a big old sign, a billboard in Denver paid for by the sheriff's office up in Laramie County, Wyoming. It says, "Work in Wyoming, where breaking the law is still illegal and cops are funded." Laramie County Sheriff Bill Kozak says he is extending this offer to Denver police to come work with him because he says Denver, quote unquote, defunded police to fund migrant services. A charitable interpretation of the sheriff's claims is that they are misleading. It also presumes that you and we do not know a whole lot about the Laramie County Sheriff's own history or his office's own budget. But first, let's dive into what he says about Denver, all right? The sheriff from Wyoming is talking about the $8 million that DPD is cutting from its budget as part of citywide budget cuts to address the migrant crisis. It's 1.9% of DPD's annual budget. Denver's police chief says the cuts will have no change in the number of officers deployed on the street, no changes in recruiting classes, no changes in any public-facing services. Denver Mayor Mike Johnson says that calling that action defunding the police is a willful mischaracterization.
From some of them were capital cuts, things like delaying new furniture purchases in some of the police department buildings. And so they really tried to focus on places that were not public facing.
We were able to make sure that we provide all of our core services without having any impact on the budget at all.
We are curious if the Laramie County, Wyoming sheriff would see any drop in law enforcement spending as defunding the police, because we looked it up and his agency saw a spending drop 3 times the percentage size of what Denver is doing. That happened a couple years back. So we asked him, did they defund their police up there? He declined to say because he was not in his current position at the time. That's fair enough. At that point, he was with the Cheyenne Police Department, where actually he chose to do what he is now criticizing Denver for, using discretion not to enforce certain low-level citations. In his case, it was pandemic-era public health orders.
When I was police chief, we made the decision that we would not enforce the mask regulations, and that's because of our conservative approach here. We just did not believe that's a position that government should be in.
Now, it remains to be seen if Laramie County is going to poach people from DPD. Denver police were all too happy to note today that they pay officers about $24,000 more per year than Laramie County, with a wider pay gap for higher ranks. The home raffle that never actually gave away a home in 15 years, then got called out for it here. They really tried to give away a home this year, but they did not. For the 16th year, the Boys and Girls Club Mile High Raffle did not give away the home. Now, I imagine becoming known as the home raffle that doesn't give away a home probably did not help, but all Marshall Zellinger's done is tell the truth.
This cul-de-sac near Golden, with duplexes still under construction, duplexes from the mid-1 millions, it's a cul-de-sac that's home to one of the homes the Boys and Girls Club of Metro Denver tried to give away as part of their Dreamhouse raffle. You know, the Dreamhouse raffle that for 15 years never sold enough tickets to give away a Dreamhouse.
Last year we got some extra attention. Some of that's thanks to your team, Marshall.
Earlier this year, the Boys and Girls Club told us about changes that would make it more likely the grand prize winner could unlock their dream home or still take home $1.1 million. In previous years, like last year when this home was to be raffled, the nonprofit needed to sell 80,000 tickets to give away the home. It never sold that many. So one of the changes this year was to cut the ticket sales threshold in half.
The 40,000 ticket threshold is something that we've met consistently for the past 4 years.
Except this year the raffle did not sell that many. Only 29,146 tickets were sold. So when workers get done building the home, it will be sold, not given away. But someone did step up their life. Even though no home was raffled for the 16th straight year, the top winner still got money, $1.1 million, which is more than the Boys and Girls Club will keep as revenue from the fundraiser. Last year, the raffle earned the Boys and Girls Club almost $3 million. This year, because of low ticket sales, the nonprofit will only keep $500,000.
Let's end on a positive. Boys and Girls Club did not pay a consultant to run the raffle this year. They had outsourced it for a dozen years, which cost about $5 million total. And from our reporting earlier this year, they were actually trying to have the grand prize be your choice of one of two homes or the money, but that, Kyle, would have required 70,000 tickets to be sold. And maybe it's a good thing that didn't happen because I went by that area today and that second home is still a dirt lot.
Not only did they not hit their ticket sales mark, they didn't come close. I mean, that was rough. I feel like we have to say this every single time we talk about this because we don't want people to be confused. There is another well-known home raffle that actually, hold on everybody, gives away the home.
That's the Mighty Millions raffle. I was reminded about this raffle when I saw a commercial last week for it. I think they announced their winners next week. Different raffles.
Okay. Also, before we let you go, is it just a coincidence that you are wearing the exact same outfit?
Yes.
As the last time you reported on this rep, I feel like, this is from back in January, I feel like you have a lucky outfit for the world's unluckiest raffle.
Although, when I realized that might be happening today, I switched to the gold 9-pin to distinguish myself differently.
You're like one of those find the difference things on the back of a children's cereal box. Congratulations. Thank you. City of Pueblo has made the decision. They are banning needle exchange programs. Public health leaders have warned what they think is going to happen next. The Postal Service backs off a plan to ship mail clear across the Continental Divide and back again. And they're united by the worst days in their lives. Today, they got the chance to thank the people who saved them. Pueblo has gone from funding nonprofit efforts to do needle exchanges to now banning them within city limits. Pueblo's city government's taken a more conservative turn in the most recent election. Pueblo City Council voted Monday to ban needle exchange programs. 5-2 vote happened despite overwhelming support for the programs from citizens who came out to comment. The Pueblo chieftain reports 6 people spoke in favor of the ban, 44 against it. Those programs give people a place to get rid of used syringes, get clean needles, and get directed to substance abuse and mental health help. The council members who voted for the ban on the program said they were worried that they enable drug use. So the U.S. Postal Service is temporarily backing off a controversial idea to consolidate mail processing across the U.S. It would have forced all of Colorado's mail to go through Denver. Folks on the western slope and state leaders had predicted that doing that could lead to mail delays for the western half of the state. The Postal Service says it is delaying that national plan until at least next year. It would downgrade several regional processing centers, like the one in Grand Junction, to becoming just local processing centers. For people on the western slope, that meant that local mail trying to be sent across town would go all the way to Denver and back. Colorado's Democratic senators and others argued that frequent highway closures on I-70 could delay time-sensitive mail like prescriptions and ballots. The Postal Service says they won't do any kind of consolidation plan without talking to Congress, and they'll make changes at a more moderate pace. Warmer day today. Kathy Savins here with a look ahead.
Kyle, almost 80 today before the clouds rolled in, and we've been tracking some kind of gentle showers around the area with a little thunder and lightning. Nothing severe today, thankfully. And I'm showing you the mountains here because tomorrow, above 10,000 feet, we might have a light dusting of snow. There's some cold air coming in with the morning cold front. We've got scattered storms tonight, a cooler day tomorrow with scattered showers, and a warm up just in time for the weekend. 78 today, 8 degrees above average, 90 in Lamar this afternoon. Winds are picking up out of the west and northwest, helping to transport these showers and thunderstorms quickly off the foothills out onto the eastern plains, where we're seeing some brief heavy shower activity, thunder and lightning on the I-70 corridor, up into the Fort Morgan area, south to Callahan and Colorado Springs. Winter Park, maybe a little rain-snow mix up that way. So far, so good for the evening drive in Denver. A marginal risk of some stronger storms over the next 2 or 3 hours, but tomorrow that risk will shift further to the south. It's just going to be a cool cooler day, a cloudier day with a better chance for showers after a little bit of an overnight break. Some sun in the morning, but more clouds in the afternoon and some heavy showers this time tomorrow night from Highlands Ranch, Denver, down to Castle Rock. Temperatures sliding out of the 70s over the next few hours with mostly cloudy skies. A cooler day tomorrow with rain. Keep the jacket handy, and then a drier day Thursday. Check out your weekend. A big change from what we saw last weekend. Sunshine and 80s.
A great opportunity for people like myself who have had their lives saved in a lot of cases to come together.
They have all gone through something horrible, but made it through, and today had a chance to say thanks. When we speak about trauma, it's rare that we're talking about trauma in the way that hospitals refer to trauma. And for those who have been through those life-threatening situations and the caretakers at Swedish Medical Center who saved them, today was a reunion.
I was flying this thing around and I overshot the landing zone and hit the ground going 60 miles an hour. My name is Sean Hall, and I'm a trauma survivor. In August of 2016, I crashed my paraglider. Almost died and was flown here to Swedish Medical Center, where I was put back together.
I want to welcome everyone who's come here today.
Today, May 14th, is Trauma Survivors Day. It's a great opportunity for people like myself who have had their lives saved in a lot of cases to come together and celebrate being alive and having a new take on life, and also to meet a lot of the care providers who played a role in our healing and our trauma.
I was given a 5% chance of walking out of here, let alone just being out of here.
It's incredibly emotional for everybody involved. Casey Banton, Trauma Medical Director at Swedish Medical Center. The Trauma Survivor Day celebration is something that I started when I came here as the Trauma Medical Director. It's really a day to celebrate what medicine has become, what we are capable of doing, things that would not have been survivable 30 years ago, 20 years ago.
To all the familiar and unfamiliar faces who contributed to me getting another chance at life.
I'm happy to be a survivor, and I'm happy to be here today.
It's really about the people who work with the survivors and help us become survivors.
It isn't just about us, it's about this team and how much they take care of us like we are family. So thank you all.
It's a good healing loop closure for them, but it's really a day of rejoicing for us that we typically don't have. A sense of gratitude for what they have every day.
So thank you.
Because not everybody gets another day.
Closure and rejoicing. That's neat. We're back with a piece of feedback that I could not disagree with more, plus whatever Marissa's brought us. Next. Feedback from Karen, who would like to speak with my manager. She says, I wonder if it has occurred to you that the reason the Boys and Girls Club had such low response this year to their raffle is because of your reporting. Shame on you. Karen, let's step back and think about that. You're suggesting that in order for the home raffle that had never given away a home to keep selling tickets, that people needed to be kept in the dark about the fact that they had never given away a home in 15 years. That's pretty mind-boggling, and it is certainly not our role as journalists, which is to tell you the truth, and then you get to decide what to do with that information. In a way, it kind of reminds me of the politicians who lose and get really mad because we told the truth about them, too. We'll see you next time.